Billy, first of all, William Lynch, Billy, thank you for being on this call and thank you for going through the training,
Of
specifically being
course.
trainable and whatever other courses you went through. And then anybody that's watching this and is familiar with what we're up to at this point, um, if Russell could get on video, he will. He usually does. You want to see his beautiful face? There's plenty of videos with him on it. And this one just happens to be a photo because of an internet issue. But that's also kind of the beauty of this that again we assert with the education available today, there's no reason to live a disempowered life, and with the technology available today, the resources available today, uh, there's really no reason to be stopped unless you don't have a distinction. And then we're going to offer people distinctions that will keep you in action to produce the results that you say you want out of life. Definitely, the results that we're presenting are possible, which is having an incredible having a good life, making a good amount of money, controlling and owning your time in the mortgage business. So with that said, I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to ask Bill. I keep on hesitating because it says William Lynch on your name, but
Yeah.
Bill.
Either William is usually when I'm in trouble with mom. So I have Bill or Billy, either one. It works just fine. I answer to all.
That's funny. Yeah, yeah. I'm Luisito. When I hear Luisito, I go,
Yeah, shit, you did something.
I'm gonna get a chancleta, man, or a belt or something. Anyway, so with that said, why don't you just start and just share? You're let me actually. There's one thing. There's one thought.
Sure.
Another reason why we're public about these conversations between the three of us, for anybody listening, in particular veterans, will definitely understand this, but anybody listening, and that is that we're very clear when a person has an idea, it's a nice idea. You could have an idea, I could have an idea. You could tell somebody you're going to start your own business. You could say anything you want to somebody, and very few people are going to hear you as that. Wow, you can make that happen. Wow, you can do that. So until you have that partner, that friend in your life, whether it's a parent, whether you're the parent of a child, whether it's a good friend, a partner, relationship wise, whatever that is, that partner is willing to hear you as, yes, you can do that. That adds a lot of value, a lot of value. But it doesn't really become like a reality in your core group until you have three of you. It's like the first guy is a good idea and a nut. The second guy is a nut with a good friend. The third guy is a team. So we have a team here from our side, and we're going to empower every single one of you to create your own little teams. Grow with us as you need, but you could have your own team wherever you are in America, and you could be in the mortgage business, and you could make money and manage and control your time. So that's why we're very transparent. That's why I call it transparent technology, transparent about our conversations. There's no mystery to this other than you don't want to find out the answers, but there's plenty of answers to these inquiries. So with that said, Billy just went through the Being Trainable course. Uh, 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 there's a lot I could assert about it from years of training and creating it, but let's hear what Billy has to say. And Billy, introduce yourself again in your background for someone who's listening for the first time.
Yeah, my name's Bill Lynch. I was enlisted in the Navy from the years of 2008 to 2014 as a nuclear engineer for brevity purposes. I was working in the 2 years of extensive academic and hands-on training in nuclear power generation, and propulsion on naval warships. I spent 6 years doing that. Needless to say, with that kind of education and background and experience, there's a lot of opportunities in the civilian world. So after my initial enlistment expired, I decided to go out into the civilian world. As with a lot of veterans, I was not ready for that transition. I thought I was, but there was a lot of struggle with it. Luckily, a lot of things worked out. You as Louis, as we discussed several times, it's almost as if a lot of veterans getting out are being sold short on what they're capable of, whether it be because their training doesn't come with an accredited degree or whatever the case may be. But my experience was, find a job as fast as you can, whatever it was, as soon as I got out, just to work. And you know that
you're generous. I'm going to tell you from my side of the fence, as a person who the highest respect for the military, America. At the end of the day, I'm a Cuban immigrant, so I don't kid myself about that. And I'm an American citizen. Um, you're very generous. I'm going to tell you, from my point of view, you get taken advantage of.
Yeah, I didn't want to come out and straight say that, but
no,
yes,
you get taken advantage of. Both
yeah.
It's a curse, but you get taken advantage of. You get outright taken advantage of.
Correct. Yeah, and I experienced that firsthand. My first job out of the Navy, operating in, you know, multi-billion-dollar nuclear power plants. The only work I really could find that was even close to what I felt my potential was in a manufacturing plant, working 7 hours a day, 12 hours a week. And the justification of my employer behind that was, well, you're used to working under horrible conditions. This should be a walk in the park for you. That's not the case. If I wanted to keep, you know, breaking my hump like that, I'd have stayed in and, you know, made rank and all that stuff. I came out for the opportunity. I didn't like that at all. It left a very bad taste in my mouth for veterans. And when you and I first met and started discussing, you know, when you found out I was a veteran, that was kind of the first thing we started discussing, was what vets are facing when they get out. A big problem with me when I got out was I didn't take the time to ask myself what I wanted or what I liked. I just knew I needed to work. And when I did finally face that question of what do I want, because, you know, there were people telling me, with this background, you can do whatever you want. And a lot of, I mean, just about every veteran has a skill set that would allow them to do. They should have opportunities. They should have opportunities at their door when they open, you know. And that's not the case. So when I had to sit down and actually ask myself, what do I want? What do I want to do with the rest of my life that I will enjoy, that I will like, that I'll love? That's a hard question when you actually have to look in the mirror and ask yourself that, especially if you've never asked it before, especially if you're coming out of the military where what you want was told to you for every minute of every day. So yeah, there was a transition period. That's why they call it transitioning out of the military. And if I can serve anyone getting out with this video or with this training program, it's an opportunity that I'm proud and honored to be a part of.
Okay, so and then Russell, you want to maybe say a minute or two of your background? And, you know, we have already a great relationship, and you are, you know, you actually are, you know, the real estate business, which is great, which made it a lot easier for you to see the opportunity for other people. And sure, all we have to do is really just give them the knowledge. So anything you want to say real quick before we start?
I'm
talking Russell.
Oh, sorry.
And then we're going to finish up with you. This is going to, after, I remember, I'm Cuban, man. When I say it'll only take a minute, grab a beer and put your feet up.
All right. Yeah, no problem.
Then we'll have Russell introduce, and then it's just going to be you telling us about being trainable. We'll get into the other courses, but there's a transition that's important to, you know, you turn those skills into money, you know, into a career. So, Russell?
Yeah. So, I'm Russ Brownfield, and I retired from the military this year in May, and I agree with Bill with some of the things that those who don't retire out of the military, it's a whole lot tougher, only because when you leave the military, there's nothing else you're taking with you other than your DD-214 and you know, your skill set.
Exactly right.
I know the military is now trying to work on a tiered method of benefits. So when you leave the military, you're not leaving necessarily empty-handed, but, you know, that still hasn't come to full realization yet. They're still probably, you know, working on that and figuring out how to do that, you know, with tier 1, 2, and 3, and how much money people are going to be able to draw off of that. But, you know, one of the things with the with the transition from the military, and they call it they went from soldier for life program to TAP, and the soldier for life was supposed to be that no matter what you do, you know, you're not left or forsaken by the military, because you're now in the hands of the VA, and the VA is there to assist you, and you go through all these wonderful things, and you know, you're not cradled, but you're not left alone. But a lot of veterans, those that are leaving the military, especially those that leave under, you know, not so desirable conditions, find themselves hanging on a thread. And then you've got, you know, a lot of people don't realize, in those veterans that would be joining us that, you know, don't get an opportunity to retire. The Department of Defense, you know, when people are looking to cut money, the first place they look at is the defense. That's the first to get cut. And how do you cut budget? You cut personnel. And so, you know, you can, you know, you're not necessarily getting veterans that are soldiers or service members through any of the services leaving voluntarily. They're leaving because the budget being cut, and now they're being asked to leave. And it's not they're being asked to leave in, you know, 12 to 24 months. They're being asked to leave in as little as 90 days. And they don't have, you know, the thought of all of a sudden, what do you mean I got to go? Who said I got to go? Well, quite frankly, the president of the United States said you got to go, because he needs to use the money that he's paying you to do something else, whether it's the infrastructure or pet projects or whatever the case may be. So, you know, there are a lot of nuances that a lot of folks don't get a chance to see, simply because when they see people in uniform, you know, they think that once you're in uniform, you'll always be in uniform unless you decide to leave. And they don't understand all of the things that go on behind the scenes that can literally just cause a person to leave, to include, believe it or not, a toxic environment.
Right.
So, you know, what I like about what we're doing is that if we can get into the transition period, which is called TAP, the Transition Assistance Program, and we can infuse ourselves inside of that window. That's a 24-month window. And then within that period, while you're still on active duty, we can give you a skill set. So when you get ready to leave, you're not leaving hoping that you have something to go to. You can leave with your MLO license in your back pocket. And when you do get out, and you can either work with us or you work with anybody, at that point in time, you can start earning a living before you even leave the military.
Yeah, man, I wish I had you telling me that about 6 years ago. I know there's a lot of vets that would, just hearing you say that would be a sigh of relief. Something I can have something waiting for me when I get out. Not even when I get out. It can be.
You can be doing this while you're on, because there is nothing against you doing something like this. And I'll tell you something, and you know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say something in a group like this. And the person I'm going to say this about, because he has nothing but goodness that he wants to do for the community. And it doesn't matter whether it's veterans or not. You know, Lou is compassionate about a whole lot of things. But I tell you what, with me and talking with Lou, you know, because I process things. It takes me a little bit to process things. after I processed what Lou was trying to do and what Lou wants to do, he's literally, if you think about it, he can change your life, or what he's talking about can change your life before you change your life. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a front runner and a forerunner to what you're wanting to do. That means the things that you just talked about, Bill, the anxiety, the wondering, the almost to some degree, guys and gals who left the military not knowing what to do and afraid of what could happen. Some of them checked out, and unfortunately, some of them did that by taking their life. And a lot of people don't think about that. That some people leave the military and will commit suicide because they felt that they've been let down. There are people that have left the military and said, okay, well, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna, try to do XYZ. And they can't do XYZ because they're new to the place they're leaving from. So then they have to pack up and go home. Some of them have to go home and they're not solid on their feet. So they're moving into their parents' home. And some of them are taking their parents, living with their parents with their wife and kids. Yep. So all of that is tough to do. And like I said, with us being able to get inside the transition window, 12 to 24 months before, because the 24 months is the trigger point for when, at that point in time, okay, I'm leaving, I put in my paperwork, or my paperwork is being put in, and now I know what I need to do. But a lot of times we get wrapped around all of the mandatory classes you got to go to and all this other stuff, and great information, but what do you do with it practically? But this is practical application. We can put an originator's license in your pocket. You can now start working with Loan Lions to build something that can put dollars in your pocket before you leave. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just the fact that you know that you can do it and you can experience it, you can feel it, you can taste it, you can smell it, and you can show people that you're doing it. Man, that's tangible.
It's priceless.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
And every veteran has an opportunity to do VA loans with other veterans. And it's like you have an inside track on leads to qualified people. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but if I was a veteran and I knew another veteran was the realtor and another veteran was the mortgage guy, I'm going to go with the veterans. I mean,
and with that, and with saying that, that goes to what we typically talk about as taking care of your own.
Yeah, absolutely. Power to that.
I'll tell you what, I went through TAP. I went through the TAPS program, and it's, the TAPS class usually is, like you said, it's a lot of very good information. They don't just drop you on your behind. But if you two had walked in, or Louis or Russ had walked in and said, basically the pitch is, you have control over making a few bucks. You're not going to be dependent on finding someone to hire you and hopefully they give you a position that somewhat matches your military background.
There's an echo going on, Bill. So I don't know if that's do you have two things on, or?
No, it should just be one. I did have a fan face. I don't know if that was causing white noise.
I don't know why it's echoing.
Is it still doing it?
Yeah, it wasn't doing it before. Your audio is
how's that?
You have to talk.
Can you hear me? How about that? Check.
Yeah, I don't know what the echo is. I don't think it's. Russ is off. I'm going to turn my. When I put myself on mute, talk and no, take yourself off mute.
All right.
So I'm going to put myself on mute and then talk. Let me see if that does.
How's that? Any better? Still echo?
The echo's there. Okay, so dear audience, enjoy the echo. It's part of life. We're not going to let an echo stop. Let's go.
No idea what's going on.
Tell you what you were saying?
I would say I did go through the TAP. I went through the TAP program, and really the biggest thing from the TAP program that I took away was the VA portion of it. There's a lot of different things. It just doesn't. They're bringing a lot of stuff that isn't really relevant to what a veteran deciding to transition out needs is a steady stream of income, and as Russ suggested, if you have a family, a place to provide for your family. Having control over that, especially having been in a situation where, let's be honest, you don't have control over your own life.
I got to stop it because the video this won't be worth anything with that.
Is it that bad?
Yes. Go to what your mute your microphone is.
Yeah.
And click the little arrow there.
Yeah.
And does it say same as system?
Yeah, I have it checked on my microphone array. Let me hit same as system. How's that? Is that any better?
Much better.
Okay. So that was it.
Okay,
sorry.
So say, and I'll cut this and I'll edit this little chop off. But here's what I want to make sure. I'm going to say it, and you guys aren't saying what I'm addressing, but you guys may be better addressing it. But TAP is an excellent program. The people that are doing all these programs, they're really well-intended, awesome individuals. So this
Absolutely.
This is about how do you merge what's happening in this world, the outside civilian world, business-wise, with what's happening in the military, and TAP is trying to help people with a transition. I think what we have here is an opportunity to bolt around, and give TAP what it's missing to really give veterans a way to make money. Like you guys are saying, like you're saying, no matter where, like listen, nobody ever has to hire me, man. Straight up.
Yeah.
Hey. I'm.
That's what it is, man.
Nobody has to hire me. I know how to make my money on the market and the mortgages and do my thing. Now clients have to hire me, right? People have to work with me. But you see the skill set. It's not rocket science. I'm no nuclear physics, dude.
It's from the
let me just pop in real quick. So the area of what Lou you're talking about that would be most important for us to pop into would be what TAP talks to very, 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 very broadly and very briefly. And that's being an entrepreneur.
Yep.
Going into your own business. And then even when they talk about it, they will shift it over to somebody else to talk about it, as opposed to them getting into it to talk about the things that you need to do as an entrepreneur, blah, 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 getting funding, blah, 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 blah. But so we are a niche, and we could literally be a part of a, one of the TAP programs, walk in and go, okay, so we know that you guys are getting ready to go. We know that you read that you're already talking about updating your resume, looking at what jobs are out there, looking at where you're going to move next. What are you going to do about about money? Well, you know what? We're getting ready to address all of that right here. And one of those things is you'll never have to worry about where you're going to go to live, because this goes with you. You know what? You never have to worry about money, because if you work with us and we get you licensed, you can make money anywhere, no matter where you are. And here's how you can do it. But these are the things, in order for you to do it, this is what comes along with it. One, you got to be teachable. You got to be coachable.
And if you guys would have come in my TAPS class with that pitch, I'd have been knocking people out of the line to get up front. 100%.
I've seen your size, bro. I'm sure you can knock a couple people over pretty easy. All right. So with that said, let's transition, given the timing here.
Sure.
Tell us about your experience with being trainable in the course, because that's a major. I could take someone right to hey, this is what you need to do, a mortgage business.
Right.
And, or any business, by the way. And what I have learned throughout the decades at this point is, like raising a child, raising myself, raising an adult, raising a career transition, it doesn't really fully work. It doesn't work because putting a knowledge base in your face is hit or miss, mostly useless, unless you could transition your past experience and see where it bolts in. Right. It doesn't matter if you've just been a parent your whole life, been at, your level of education your whole life, anything in between. If someone is not trainable, they will always, I'm going to say it this way, but I could back this up. If someone's not trainable, they will always be a victim to circumstances.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Always. It's just forever victim, very light, very little, almost undistinguishable, unnoticeable, but an addiction nonetheless. Yep. And once you break out of that, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I do have a say on how my life goes. I always have.
Right.
So I'm going to share, please.
Yeah, then that was the that's what about being trainable. The course is what vastly exceeded my expectations. It was something I had to take the long road to learn. And I have it written down here, is you can change your mind. Veterans are literally recreating themselves when they get out. You have to, or like Russ said, it can go very dark. What I really, really liked about the being trainable, and what I agree with in my core, is the mindset of being trainable. Of if you're closed-minded, if you say I can only learn this way, or this is my belief system, this is my moral system, whatever it may be. If you're set in stone in the way you are, you're not going to grow. And you're going to more than likely just you're only going to be able to get what's given to you. So the mindset part of being trainable, the ability to open your mind to new information, to basically learning how to learn. And Louis, we've discussed on previous meetings like this, is, if you learn to earn something, no matter how many times you lose that something, you know how to earn it. And that's what being trainable is to me, is learning no matter what happens, the mindset of I'm going to be okay because I know how to learn to do something else. A lot of veterans are getting out of the military and are confident that they can learn to do anything. That's why, say for an example, like a gunner's mate in the Navy, a person who worked with weapons for 4, 5, 6 years. To say that man that person can only go out and work with guns in the civilian world is crazy. He was taught how to learn. That's the biggest thing. And that's where I had trouble in job interviews and whatnot, was explaining to them, yes, I don't have any experience in this field, but if you give me 1 month, I'll know it. I'll learn it because I know how to learn. If you know how to be trainable, if you know how to, and I want to talk about this later, the difference between being coachable and being trainable. If you know how to be trainable, if your mind is, I guess for the lack of a better word, malleable enough to where you could be taught and you know how to be taught and you're not closed-minded to being taught, the sky's the limit. What's stopping you from doing whatever you want? And then on top of that, you have this opportunity to take control of your own destiny, which you haven't had for a long time. So I was vastly impressed with it. I have a ton of notes here. It'd take me forever to go through them all, but
well, I like what you said about the mindset.
Right.
I love that.
That starts with that. I think that's at a baseline. If you're a closed-minded person, if you're set in your ways, as it were, you can't do anything with a person like that.
But it doesn't even have, I agree with you. And I'm going to say, yes, I agree with you. And the mindset with some of us coming out of the military is, being angry.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I experienced it myself.
Yep.
Why angry? What's the source of the anger?
For me, it's a sense of it's not really well placed, but it was a sense of abandonment.
Yeah. How about you, Russell? What's the source of the answer? No, that's right. Just trying to give. I know we're kind of hitting the title of things, not the full.
He's very right. Yeah.
What would you say the source of it is, Russell?
Well, the source of the anger is you just feeling like you didn't make the decision.
Right.
And sometimes that even though you say, well, you know what, I'm ready to leave, but you're not set to leave. And what I mean set to leave is that you make a decision that I want to get out of the service, but the path to getting out is not solid. There are curves and bumps and potholes in that path because you've not gone through that path. Some of it can be brand new, or some of it can be retraced and you never repaired it before you left.
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I hear two little quick things, and for the purpose of this call, really, William, you're the one I want to hear your notes on being trainable, because that's what the audience. I hear two little things. One is, in raising my children and my daughters and those of us that are parents, as they get older and they want to go live on their own, really seeing, and you're not ready to live on your own. You think you could live on your own. You have no idea what it's going to take to live on your own. And you want to make sure that as a parent, you want to make sure that the kids are fully functioning and self-determining enough to actually go live on their own. So it's an art practicing as a parent. And another example would be, so it's almost like you're in the military and you have this potential guardian called, the government, let's say, who you'd think would make sure that you're prepared to go live on your own.
Right.
Just an analogy. Obviously, we're not talking about children. We're talking about adults here. And then the other side, I also think of the analogy of, I've worked with a lot of people in relationships and they go through breakups. And usually what someone has to accept in a breakup to really get past it, usually, and I could assert this for just about everybody, is how they got duped in the relationship. And they trusted somebody. They gave their love and soul to somebody. They had children with somebody, male or female. They financed their existence, whatever. And that person cheated on them or whatever. And they got duped. I'm not saying the military is duping anybody. No, I'm saying that people are leaving with the potential experience of shit. I feel like I got duped. And you didn't get duped. The problem is you didn't get distinctions to be trainable. You have the distinctions, but you didn't transfer them.
Right.
Or you're going into an environment of a workforce. Not everybody in the workforce is like this, but I've seen enough to say way too many are like this, where they take advantage of veterans and other people too. But it is, I'm disgusted by it. Hence, here I am having this conversation with you guys.
Sure,
I'm committed to make a difference about it. So
anyway. Hard workers are going to get the hard work. That's unfortunately.
They'll ride you until they can't ride you anymore.
Exactly.
So,
right.
But to your point, Lou, I'm just going to go back to this one point that you made, and it's a great point that you made, that the military, it's not that they don't, you're not being taught to live on your own, but as a matter of fact, the military can't afford you to think about living on your own. The reason being is because there's a hierarchy and there is a paradigm for which you have to fall underneath, so that when they say take that hill, you're not contemplating something else other than to taking that hill.
Right.
So there's a leader. Right. There's a leader follower. There's authority that's all in. There's a whole thing about being able to get people to do what you need them to do. And, the military is very good on, giving you enough autonomy to do what you need to do the way you need to do it. As they say, we're not going to tell you how to crack that nut, but you still got to crack it.
Crack the nut. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but when the reason why you get that 24 months in that transition is to be prepared to go to live on your own, to go to do your thing. But the problem with that is that transition doesn't become proactive on the service member's behalf. And they can literally procrastinate to one day they wake up and they've got 60 days to get the heck out of the military. And before you know it, it's too late. Because all that other time they've been contemplating, they've been talking, days go by, weeks go by, months go by. And what was 24 months is now 12 months. What was 12 months is now 6 months. And what was 6 months is now 6 days. And you're like panicking and don't know who to talk to. And the next thing you know is you're packing up and you're calling everybody and saying, hey, look, I'm on my way home. You mind if I sleep on your couch for a little while? You mind if I come home, mom and dad, and stay in the basement for a little while? I promise I won't be long and I'll be looking for a job. And before you know it, and I'm just telling you what I've seen and what goes on. And before you know it, that individual can come home and they can do all right for a little while, or someone can come home and you think they're doing all right and they're literally depressed. Yeah. They're literally going through some other things. So to get back on track, what we're talking about and what Billy's talking about is that being trainable and being a part of this team, if we can get to you before you leave, there are things that we help you with and get through before you wake up and go, well, you know what? I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it and who I'm going to do it with. But you know what? Doggone it. Military could have done a better job. Whoa, wait a minute. You've got some skin in this game too.
Right.
But here's how we, as the Lone Lions, can bring you into our pride so that we can help you help yourself. And you know what? We'll also, when we're done with you, you can decide to leave the pride or you can decide to stay along with the pride. But one way or another, you will be prepared to go out and go be on your own.
I guarantee you, there's mortgage companies across the country who'll take you.
The preparedness, like you just said, the preparedness to take control of your own destiny at that point in your life when you're facing all that uncertainty, man, it almost sounds too good to be true.
So Bill, let's hear your notes on being trainable, because I know time-wise you got like 20 minutes here, and this is actually a fantastic segue, and I didn't really hear this before, but I'm hearing it differently now from what you guys are saying, that if someone took, let's say, the Being Trainable course, the training that we could provide for people, in the first month, let's say, before their 2-year through TAP,
right?
What do you think is possible, and what are some of the distinctions you could say you got from the course? What are the distinctions you actually got? And I'll say this last sentence, because everybody throws around, hey, you could be in charge of your destiny. Hey, you could change your mindset.
It's a buzz term.
Yeah, which is useful.
Yeah.
But I know, and I think at this point, I'm very clear that, but that's nice, but the distinctions that are actually embedded, like being a fully functioning person and being able to have a conversation with anyone, anywhere, anytime, anyhow, about anything, without throwing a tantrum, without doing the silent treatment, without walking away, without getting angry, without all those things that are, when you do those things, if you're a functioning person, and at least if you're working one of us, whatever your reaction is, if you're willing to have the conversation with me, that reaction is the yellow brick road to distinguish what do you need to complete to go be powerful and take full advantage of TAP.
Absolutely.
Take full advantage of your military experience. Take full advantage of what's available in the entrepreneur world, the mortgage world, whatever the business world. But you got to handle those fundamental, being a functional person in all areas of life.
Absolutely.
And so
that's actually speaking of distinctions in my notes here, what I have here is, what you were just talking about, sections. I don't want to get too much into the course material specifics, but the sections on being self-determining and self-functioning, whether you decide to join our team as a mortgage loan officer or continue whatever career you had in the Navy or the military, those 3 sections I read this morning can help anyone do anything if they take it to heart. If I hadn't already known it, it would have been eye-opening. The ability to, people in general, not just vets, we all have blockages. We all have things, all of our thoughts, everything we think, it all has a beginning and an end. No thought has stayed with you forever, but we store some stuff. And those blockages that we store can prevent us from being trainable and can prevent us from being effective in conversation or in conflict, because we had a past experience of some kind, and we're tapping into that past experience that will never happen again, and we're applying it to the current situation we're facing. That's not an effective way to go about life. And those 3 sections in being trainable are worth the price of admission alone, I believe. Even if you decide you don't want to be a part of this, you got to check those out. Louis, you knocked it out of the park. That's the only way I could say it.
I'd want to benchmark that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But I'm also
He's
very
not paying
clear,
me either.
I'm also very clear that I stand on the heels and shoulders of 50 years, 35 years in the game of training and development, and a whole world of people.
Yeah.
And what really cracked the code on me to create Being Trainable was having children and having so many years of experience, and then noticing how, wow, maybe it's just happening around me. And I live in a town that's like, I came from poverty. There's a lot of wealth around me, everything in between. Yeah. We're messing our kids up because, wow, like these kids are, the only thing that's missing is that they're not trained. But I've trained so many people that I saw, and then that's when the evolution of, so thank you. And I'll take the accolade. So thank you.
You're welcome. And it was a pleasure to be honest, train. I was, to be completely honest, everyone looks at training kind of the same way. It's training. It's tedious. Yeah. But that was, good.
So what opens up? So what opens up for you when you see the distinctions? What cleared for you? What's cleared for you? Like there you were, you saw one world, and now something opened up. What's clearer for you as a possibility? Because
for me personally.
Well, for you personally, yeah, and from the training, because the goal is that 1,000 military guys become trainable, transfer skills they already have, and then go make a boatload of money or something. I don't know.
Oh, I think if you can understand, which you lay it out in a way it's understandable, the being self-determining and self-functioning. If you can truly understand, if that clicks with you and you can take that on board, opportunities are endless. You can do whatever you could honestly at that point do whatever you want.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing, and I could go on for all day. I could go on day about those 3 sections. I was vastly impressed by it. It's truth. It's not a sales pitch. It's that is the process of being self-determining and self-functioning is the process of taking control of your life, taking control of your mind, and then going out in life and doing it. Once you have control of that, a lot of like Russ pointed to, a lot of veterans are getting out with the worry, with the anxiety. It is a 2-ton weight on your shoulders. And if we can get to veterans in TAP and get this through their heads, it'll change lives. I have no doubt.
Given your experience in the nuclear world, I know that
Right.
that you're obviously you're a smart guy, right?
Yeah, that's what they told me anyway.
Well, I don't think you could fake it at that level, but
No, you can't.
If do you see, or can you say a little bit about the what I tried to do was have it be very simple, but yet powerful. And if somebody follows the process of the course, let's say,
right,
and then all of a sudden it goes, pop, oh, now it applies to everything in life. But if you step one, because you really can't be self-determining if you can't be fully functioning.
Right.
And the beauty about it is you don't ever get there. You just keep on expanding new ways of learning and thinking. And, so it's not like there's a place to get to.
Yeah.
It's a place to keep on expanding with.
Exactly. It's a starting point. It's a jump off point.
Yeah. So, it's just a place to open up and go, oh my God, life is actually really good. There's actually things to do here. Oh, there's actually opportunities. Oh my God, look at all the stuff the tap is laying out. Oh, look at all the stuff look at this. Okay. So, maybe I have to start at, step one, but that guy got to step 50. I can get to step 50. It's not like nobody's got anything on you. There's no conspiracy trying to say, hey, you can't be successful.
Yeah, there's no one out to get you, yeah, you're absolutely right. In the nuclear engineering program that I went through, it was a 2-year academic study with the 6 months of, actually operating a prototype nuclear reactor on a submarine. The first thing they tell you when you walk in at a boot camp into that schoolhouse is they're not going to teach you nuclear physics. They're not going to teach you mechanical or electrical or controls engineering. They're going to teach you how to learn. And they did. And and that's not just for, the highly specialized nuclear power program. That the military training is a very standardized system. It all gets approved at the Pentagon, and it works its way down. All education and training in the military.
A lot of great minds. I mean, it's not like it's something that somebody's doing in the kitchen.
Yeah, and so that's what you have to start with. The course material and stuff that I'm getting into after I got into being trainable. You could shove that in someone's head easily. You can brute force memorization, all that kind of stuff. But if you have this one, as a engineer, you work with procedures, which are step by step plans. You do the first thing first, the second thing second, then so on. If you can think like this, if you can be self-determining, if you can open your mind to being trainable, if you can open your mind to having new ways of thinking put in there, then that process, that procedure, that 1, 2, 3 now becomes one because, instead of one, not because it says to do it, but one because I understand why now. Understanding the why is, if you don't, then you're lost. You're just blindly, in my case, you're just blindly turning valves. And
what I hear is you're at the source of your own creative thoughts.
Exactly.
Versus being told what to do, and you got to do it this way. All 5-year-old shit. I don't want to do it. Nobody can tell me what to do, and that's you're blocking up against all those things. Versus no, wait.
You're blocking yourself from opportunity, and no one's doing that to you. You're doing that to yourself.
Education, yeah. Russell, anything you want to add to what he's saying from your view? Like, you guys have more experience in your world than I do, that's for sure.
Well, the great thing about what the military gives you is they give you intent. So when they give you intent, there's an expectation that you fulfill the intent through your own knowledge and experience, which then leads you to be open to other stimulants that will allow you to start thinking, on your own and start bringing in stuff. Essentially just charges you to be inquisitive, and charges you to start moving in a direction, to start filling in what you may consider a void that will allow you to get better and 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 better dot
forever and ever. I agree. I could not agree more.
So you know what, you know, Lou, I know this isn't about you, but it's because of you. You know, you created a program, a lifestyle of where you are allowing people to come aboard and do the exact same thing that, you know, the construct of what the services do. You don't spoon feed anybody. You know, you give them the opportunity. You say, be trainable, be inquisitive, be open, you know, in the military, I'm sure it across all the services, there's the three things that we teach everybody: be, know, and do.
Yep. No, that's universal.
Yeah. So if you can be what we ask you to be, know what it is to be what we ask you to be, and then do what we ask you to do, then you come self-charged. And that's why you look at some 18, 19-year-olds and they come home and everybody's like blown away, because it's like, what the hell happened to you while you were out there?
Yep.
How you come home change? Yeah, the military is great for discipline. No. That's a fallacy. Yep. That is a fallacy. Military doesn't teach you discipline. You either have it or you don't. Because if it taught you discipline, we wouldn't have the problems that we have in the ranks anyway. Mm-mm. But it does stimulate a portion of you that causes you to be a part of something greater than yourself.
Right. It starts with the self-determination.
Yeah.
If you don't determine to take on board what the military is, when you get in, you know, if you're not determined to make something of yourself in that system, it's not going to work. You're not going to do well. And
and that goes to Lou's point. That's perfect. That you are spot on. And that goes to Lou's point that he said a few months ago. It's a buy-in.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you buy into this. There really isn't much more we need to do. You just need to be trainable. And when you buy into it, man, there's nothing you can't do, you know, and it can't be, you know, I buy into it because it feels good today, but it's not going to feel good tomorrow.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
But you buy into it, you know, as we say, hook, line, and sinker. So when you're hooked, it may hurt when it's pulling. It may hurt when it's going down. But the bottom line is when you buy into it, you're not buying into it for the moment of what's going on. You're buying into it, what it's going to deliver.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is great. This is great.
I mean, it's a great course. It's, and it's not something, at least for me, I don't intend on just doing it once and then forgetting about it. There's info in there that can help you with that, any aspect of your life. But what we're here to do, or what I'm here to do anyway, is, make money on my terms. And you have to start out with just like in the military, I am determined to make that happen within this system.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah, but and let's remind everybody that besides that, you're going to get back something that you probably didn't have once before, and that's time, and that's freedom.
Yep. And that you can ask any active duty member right now what they wish they had more of. It'd be those two things.
That's right.
Now, with some of them probably have other problems too, of course. But I mean, if you'd asked me when I was in, what do you want more of? How can I give you a raise in the military? Give me more time off. Give me more of my time. That's what holds value.
And dude, as a civilian, there's a whole lot of people out in the world who just honor and respect you guys. And if you make yourself available, again, I'm leaning towards speaking about the mortgage business.
Yeah.
I'm sure it applies to other businesses, but if you make yourself available as a person providing the services of someone, needing a mortgage, let's say, I'm willing to bet, 9 out of 10, if not 99 out of 100, that person will give you the first shot. Hey, I'm John Doe, and I was in the Navy, and this is what I did, and I'm a loan officer, and I'm working for this company, and can I help you with a mortgage? Absolutely, bro. Over, whoever, Army, same 44-year retired, whatever. Anybody that's listening to this, if you've been in the military, we'll help you get in the mortgage business. And if you don't want to do it, that's fine. Just get in the mortgage business. I'm telling you, you're going to be surprised that you have to know what you're talking about.
I'm a naturally, I don't want to say cynical, skeptical person. I mean, you sold me on this quick. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me, to be honest with you. I'm so happy to be here.
Let me clarify something before. Yep. So, and thank you for saying that I sold you.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
No, I do, because it was you and I talking, right?
Right.
But share for the audience, what is it how did you sell yourself? Because I just shared, look, this is what's going on, man. You want to get in this party? Look, I got a party going on over here.
Yeah.
There's an industry over here that's like, the only industry that's probably better than this industry is maybe food, because we all got to eat. But put food to the side, you need a mortgage. Yeah. And if you don't need the mortgage, the person you're paying the rent to needs a mortgage. So
yeah, and it's like we just said, what resonated with me anyway was the time, my time. We've said it probably 4 or 5 times, but being the master of my own destiny, as it were. If you can be, I'd like to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you are.
And yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm going to add right to that, because, you alluded to it, and I think you even said it. But for me, I'm excited about all of this because, this is real and tangible.
Right.
And this is a way to give back and to lift up. And who better know what a veteran needs than a veteran?
Absolutely. Yeah. And then also to speak to that, the opportunity to help veterans, having experienced what I experienced transitioning out, I'd be remiss to deny that. I'm proud to be able to be in a position where I can do that. Honestly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all 3 of us. For me, it was like. But the truth is, I'm inspired training people who, man, you serve the country.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
I want, if I can help vets, and then also help myself at the same time as a vet, I'm in. I'm sold.
It is possible to win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're gonna do that. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up. It's 3:27, at least over here, and I know you got to get off in 2 minutes. So your last words, gentlemen, Russell, William.
Go ahead, Colonel.
Well, like I said, I'm excited because this can do more than I think what anybody thinks or what even expected to do, simply because it can happen and it can impact and change people's lives that think that there's no way out and there's no hope. And I think that's probably the best thing about this, is that you can reach somebody that says, man, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I said, well, I have an idea what you can do. And not only that, I can help you get there before you even leave the service.
Yep.
And, not having a bridge to cross, and then knowing that, you either have to jump across, be thrown across, or swim across, and all can be treacherous ways to go. But if you could take and throw yourself a rope or a line, or say, you know what, I don't need to worry about building this bridge because I know where there's another way to cross. I don't have to be stuck right here. Yeah. And that's what we're doing. we're literally giving them another way to cross into the civilian sector without feeling the anxiety, the misfortune, or anything else that they could possibly feel, other than confident and excited about leaving the service, as opposed to the oh my God, what am I going to do next?
If I can do that for one person, it's time well spent. Just like you said, it's or like I said earlier, if I had you guys, if I had Russ and Louie at my TAPS class, tell them that with what was going through my head sitting in TAPS, because I couldn't focus on the thing they were telling me, because I was just panicked. What's going to happen next? If you put my mind at ease at TAPS, I'm leaving with you. I'm jumping in your car. You know, so
that's funny. That's funny.
No, I'm really. I mean, there's just so much stuff to be excited about this. I can't really pinpoint one thing. It's, the opportunity to, to control my time, and then also to help you veterans watching this. It's, like Colonel Brownfield said, it's tangible. This is real. It's an opportunity for you to control your own life, and to develop a mindset that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay with. Whether you decide to stay in the mortgage loan officer business or not, it's invaluable, and I'm excited to be a part of
it. Okay, let's call this a wrap. I'm going to stop the recording, and for those of you listening, thank you very much, and to be continued.